What the Feminism is a well researched podcast which sheds light on intersectional feminism in India. Though recommended for everyone, it is largely aimed at South Asian audiences. If anyone is hurt by any feminist comment made in this podcast, we advise you to get checked for a possible condition of misogyny, misandry, homophobia, or something of that sort. Our socials are always open for suggestions or messages. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of What the Feminism. I'm so excited for this one because it's a very interesting topic, a very important topic, and it's something I wanted to do for a long time. So, in this episode, as you guys have already figured it out, we'll be discussing fast fashion, its relevance and influence to the feminist movement. So, what is fast fashion? Fast fashion is an umbrella term used to include cheap, trendy clothing which samples ideas from catwalk or celebrity culture and then turns them into garments at breakneck speed to meet consumer demand. Basically, fast fashion companies mass produce clothes that look similar to those of high luxury brands. Because they are mass produced, they require a lot of energy and resources. Plus, the remains of these toxic fabric dyes contribute to environmental harm and the chemicals contaminate fresh water. 85% of all textiles go to dumps each year. Even washing clothes releases 500,000 tons of microfibers into the ocean each year, the equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles. According to the UN Environment Programme, the industry is the second biggest consumer of water and is responsible for about 10% of global carbon emissions. Environmental damage check. Apart from seriously degrading the environment, fast fashion has also achieved great achievements in social destruction. According to non-profit Remake, 75 million people are making our clothes today, and 80% of apparel is made by young women between the ages of 18 and 24. Employees are poorly paid, and the working environment can be dangerous. Women reportedly face a lot of gender violence and harassment because they are perceived as less likely to resist. Women who work here are compelled to continue their jobs as they don't have many options. Very often they are illiterate, have a family to support, and some of them are even single mothers. Garment workers, primarily women, in Bangladesh make $3 a day. The government's wage board suggested that a garment worker needs 3.5 times the amount in order to live a decent life with basic facilities. A 2018 US Department of Labor report found evidence of forced child labor in the fashion industries in Argentina, Bangladesh, Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Turkey, Vietnam, and other countries. There have also been grievous accidents in factories. On 24th April 2013, the collapse of the Rana Plaza building in Dhaka, Bangladesh, which housed 5 garment factories, killed at least 1,132 people and injured more than 2,500. Factory workers are exposed every day to an unsafe work environment, with a high incidence of work related accidents and deaths, as well as occupational diseases. Most of the factories do not meet standards required by buildings and construction legislation. As a result, deaths from fire incidents and building collapses are quite frequent. Some fashion brands argue that they're creating jobs in developing countries, but in reality, they're just trapping women in a vicious cycle of harassment, debt, illiteracy, and a million other problems. A feminist approach to fashion requires proper wages, safe working conditions, healthcare, and a working environment without sexual harassment, gender pay gaps, and discrimination. Very often, to avoid transparency and accountability, brands resort to greenwashing, which involves making an unsubstantiated claim to deceive consumers into believing that a company's products are environmentally friendly or have a great positive environmental impact than they actually do. A lot of companies also brand themselves as women oriented, or they cater towards the quote unquote strong modern woman. For example, Beyonce's feminist fashion brand Ivy Park has been called out for using sweatshops where female workers would only receive 4.3 pounds a day and had to withstand 60-hour work weeks. Same with the Spice Girls t shirt. It was sold to raise money for the gender justice campaign, but made by female workers paid the equivalent of 35 peso per hour. And this isn't a rare case. Brands value profits more than anything else, and they will go to any lengths to make, well, money. So the next time you're wearing a shirt that says girl power, ask yourself, is it really what it means? So, what's the solution? How do we identify fast fashion brands? How do we find sustainable slow fashion brands? There's this very good site. It's called Good on You. Basically, it rates brands according to how sustainable they are. It gives a lot of information on the labor conditions, animal treatment, and the environmental impact of most of the brands. It's very helpful. I'll put its link down below in the show notes. Apart from choosing sustainable sources, some people have also started thrifting and renting. Reselling your clothes, organizing a clothes swap, and donating to charities will ensure that your clothes have an extended life. Avoiding virgin synthetics such as polyester is also helpful as these are derived from fossil fuels and take years to break down. Choose clothes which use less water to reduce your water footprints. Washing clothes can release thousands of microplastics into our waterways and oceans, causing harm to marine life that ingest the tiny particles. So invest in a microplastics filter, such as a Guppy Friend washing bag, in which you can put your synthetic garments, or a Cora ball that you put in with your laundry. When buying clothes, do look for certifications from the Global Organic Textile Standard, Leather Working Group, and Forest Stewardship Council to ensure the materials used to make your clothes have a lower impact on our planet. Don't choose clothes which come from animal sources. Instead, go vegan, such as Bold Threads Milo leather made from mycelium, which are the roots of fungi. Quite interesting, yes. When it comes to opting for sustainable apparels, a lot of people feel that there is an absence of slow fashion brands in their cities or in their reach. And that is kind of true, especially when it comes to countries like India, where there is a general lack of awareness in the masses. Some people do thrift, but it's quite rare because there are hardly any go to thrift shops in most of the cities, except the capitals. There's definitely a huge vacuum in the slow fashion industry. Plus, the non transparency of brands make it even more difficult. When people get information about fast fashion, it's usually through Instagram stories or something like that. There's no collective, active approach by the citizens right now, and that's very concerning, especially when we realize that India is one of the countries where fast fashion industry has factories, centers, and all of that. Plus, social media, the drive to be quote unquote aesthetic, the trend among young adults. It only hypes up the enthusiasm over brands like H&M, Zara, and Shine, which are definitely not ethical. A little sad note to end the episode with there. That's all for this episode. The amount of effort I've put in this episode and the amount of fun I've had researching for it, there's a positive correlation between them. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe this episode will influence people to choose slow fashion over fast fashion if they previously did not do so. Anyways, now that I think about it, this is the last episode of this year. a very happy Christmas, a very happy New Year, and we'll meet again in 2023. Let's see if y'all can party sustainably. I'm just saying, take care of yourselves, have fun, stay safe. Bye.